Hello everyone, back tuning into this morning's video. I've got some big changes coming up over the next few days. Got a very mild, sunny, lovely spring-like day today. We're going to get a lot of heavy rain, and eventually we're going to end up much colder, and there is going to be a risk of some snow as we go into next week. So before I get on with the video, I just want to talk about the advertising mode. Usually be a video ad overlay my weather videos at gazweatherviz.com. Please play those ads. You'll be supporting gazweatherviz.com by doing that. So this is today's temperatures from the GFS model. A very mild day coming up. It was a cold start across some parts of the country, but a very mild day coming up with temperatures up to 11, 12, 13 degrees. Maybe I had to push that up a little bit more than that in some southern parts of the country, possibly up to 14 or 15 degrees, so up towards the 60 Fahrenheit mark perhaps in one or two places, and certainly a very mild sort of spring-like feel across all parts of the country. Do get out and make the most of it, because it's downhill all the way after today, and as we go through towards the end of the weekend, these are the temperatures being forecast by the GFS model for Sunday. Just 1s, 2s, 3 degrees across many parts of the country. It really will be a bitter feel with a cold easterly wind blowing, and you'll definitely notice the drop in temperature. So a big change coming up in the next few days. Of course, these swings from mild to cold and then cold back to mild are something that typify spring in the British Isles. It's a harsh season, really, with plant life and fauna being fooled into thinking that the spring has sprung, and then we get the throwbacks to winter. It does happen quite regularly. Now, if we get to that cold weather, we're going to have some very wet weather coming up, and we'll have a quick look at the FACTS charts. This is the FACTS chart for midnight tonight, and we've already got a little weather system coming into the south of the country tonight. As we go through the next few days, we're just going to find these weather fronts becoming more active and more numerous. So by the time we get through to Thursday, look how many weather fronts we've got across the country. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 weather fronts coming up across the country through Thursday. So it does look like being a very unsettled day on Thursday, with some heavy rain across many parts of the country, and we'll have more weather fronts still there across the country as we go into Friday, just giving us a very unsettled, dull and wet sort of feel to the weather. And this is really the start of the change to colder conditions. As these active weather fronts come across the country, the temperatures will gradually start to slide away. And we've got this area of high pressure building up over Scandinavia, stretching out towards Greenland. That's really what's going to bring us the colder conditions. So this is the chart for Saturday from the GFS model. The high pressure is up there over Scandinavia, stretching out towards Greenland and from the north of Scotland. We've got the winds starting to go into the east there, with this low pressure area down to the southwest of the country starting to become blocked and stalled. And as we run through, what happens is that as we go through to Sunday, we start to pull in this very cold, biting easterly wind across the country. We'll have a weather front somewhere across the country as well, maybe a couple of weather fronts, and as that cold air starts to undercut, there would be the threat that some of the precipitation on that weather front will turn to snow. And certainly by the time we get through to Monday, and we're putting down this very cold east to northeasterly flow across the country, we'll be looking, I think, at snow showers coming into many eastern parts of the country as the cold air runs across the North Sea, which is beginning to warm up a little bit now. We will be seeing the threat of some heavy snow showers in the east, I think, at the start of next week. And we sort of go through to Tuesday with high pressure there in the Atlantic. The winds are in the north from a north or northeasterly direction, still bringing wintry or snow showers around these eastern coasts. If we have a look at the upper air temperatures, we can see the change that's coming up over the weekend. We've got some quite mild upper air temperatures across England and Wales still on Saturday, midnight on Saturday, but colder air is starting to come into the north already. And as we move through, we see that cold air starting to push down. Look how cold it is over Scandinavia and back in towards western Russia. Severely cold air up there. And as we run through towards Sunday, what we're going to find is that cold air coming down across the country. There it comes on that east or northeasterly flow, really pushing very cold air in across the country. we've got the -10 isotherm there clearing the country, would you believe? That's very unusual to see that in March, and we're almost bringing in -15 HPA air in towards the eastern coast. That really is very, very cold. That's for Monday, and if that's right, with this northeast wind and these very cold upper air temperatures, as I said, we would be looking at the threat of some heavy snow showers, maybe longer spells of snow even on the eastern parts of the country. So we do have to keep an eye on that, because that really could be quite substantial and significant weather event actually as we go through Sunday into the start of next week. But it may be a little bit overdone. I'm not sure we're going to pull down that depth of cold upper air, but if we do, we will certainly know about it. This is the ECMWF, and again for Saturday we've got the low pressure out in the Atlantic, stalled and blocked by this area of high pressure building up to the northeast of the country. And as we run through, that low pressure then moves through across some parts of the country. It doesn't clear the country as quickly, though, as it does on the GFS. So it just holds everything up. It holds that cold air pushing down from the north and the northeast. It holds it up a little bit. But eventually we do end up by Tuesday with that low pressure sitting just to the southeast of the country. And then we are pulling in that very cold east or northeasterly flow across the country. We maintain that then as we go through next week. It does stay very cold, and even going right out towards the end of next week, actually the ECMWF keeps it cold. Upper air temperatures from the ECMWF model showing that we're quite mild on Saturday in the south, but cold air starting to push in. And that cold air makes slow progress really across the country, much slower progress than it does on the GFS. By Monday on the GFS, we're bringing in that -10, -12, -13 HPA upper air. Very significantly cold air by Monday, whereas the ECMWF maintains quite mild upper air actually away from the north of Scotland out to Monday. But eventually that cold air does push down as we go through Tuesday and into Wednesday. Then we open the floodgates to that cold air, but we never get the depth of cold that we do on the GFS. So it could well be that the GFS is overdoing it, and it's not going to be quite as bad as the GFS is predicting. But nevertheless, the ECMWF does turn it cold as we go through next week. The -5 isotherm, which is really the minimum that you need for snow, that is well clear of the country. So it does turn cold through next week, just not quite as severely cold as it does on the on the GFS. Now, if the GFS is right, we are looking at temperatures barely above freezing through the start of next week, certainly on Monday, and the risk of some significant snow in eastern parts of the country as well. If it's not right, if the ECMWF is right, and you probably tend to favour the ECMWF, it's rare to get quite that depth of cold that the GFS is going for in this country in March. But if the ECMWF is right, then we delay the cold air pushing down across the country, but it does eventually arrive as we go through Tuesday and into Wednesday. Certainly hard night frost and wintry showers if the ECMWF is right. Maybe some significant snow showers in eastern parts of the country. So it remains to be seen really quite how cold and how snowy it's going to get next week, but the potential definitely is there for some very cold and wintry weather next week. That's it for now. Enjoy the spring sunshine, because as I say, it's not going to last. Downhill all the way after today. And that's it for now. Come back tomorrow. It's a 5-day forecast. Bye for now.